Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. The Dakar Rally finished for 2025 just last week, and now it's time to look back at the results, the goings on and the future of the Dakar Rally. To raise the point again, as I do every year, it's basically tradition at this point. I hate that they still call it the Dakar Rally, despite the fact it hasn't gone near Dakar in a very long time. It's been in Saudi Arabia for long enough that it could be called the Saudi Rally, or as I've already suggested, the Rally Raid of Champions. Moving away from the Dakar name, but still implying this is the top rally raid of the year, and carrying on the prestigious history of what's come before. Let me know your thoughts on the name issue. Are there any better suggestions? Funky Groovy Sand Jamboree is a better name than the Dakar Rally at this point. With that slight tangent over, let's take a look at the 2025 Dakar Rally. So subscribe and let's jump into the video. I'll start with the bikes. Like I said in my preview, I am not a bike person, but I do enjoy watching the bikes on rally raids because it looks like one of the toughest things anyone could do, and I have mad respect for the competitors. My predictions for the bikes were absolutely shockingly poor, with my pick for the Dakar victory, Sebastian Bueller, crashing and retiring on day one. I predicted a Hero 1-2 with Ross Branch in second, but he also crashed out, and the top hero was ridden by Chilean rider Jose Ignacio Cornejo in 7th. The top 10 was dominated by KTM and Honda. KTM had 5 riders in the top 10 and Honda had 4. Daniel Sanders won his first Dakar Rally ahead of 2 Hondas. Tosha Sharina and Adrian Van Beveren joined Sanders in a podium of first-timers. None of these drivers had been in the top 3 before 2025. Some of the usual names made it into the top 10. Last year's winner, Ricky Brabec, was 5th. Luciano Benavides was 4th. Skylar Howes and Stefan Zvitko were also up there. A good mix of stage winners as well, with 7 different riders sharing the 12 stage wins. Michael Doherty and Lorenzo Santolino, the only winners not to finish in the top 10. It was exciting stuff from the bikes as always, but Daniel Sanders led throughout the entirety of the rally, and the podium was settled after stage 5 and didn't change at all from that point. The Challenger class was unpredictable. My 3 predictions didn't even finish in the top 10. Nicolas Cavigliasio took the win to add to his 2019 quad victory, and he did it with ease, over an hour ahead of any of his rivals. Goncalo Guerrero and Paul Navarro rounded out the podium, with Tauruses filling the top 5 places. Nicolas Cavigliasio led the entirety of the rally just like Dan Saunders, but the top 3 wasn't set until stage 10 after Dutchman Paul Spearings dropped out. The SSV class had a first-time Dakar winner in American Brock Hager. In fact, he was a Dakar debutant. He beat 3-time winner Francisco Lopez Contado by a handy couple of hours. A great win for Polaris, with Can-Am filling 8 of the top 10 places, but not the top spot. Alexandre Pinto completed the podium, but the Portuguese driver was over 3.5 hours behind Brock Hager. Mission 1000 was completely pointless this year with only 5 runners, and the hydrogen truck beat the hydrogen buggy and the 3 Segway electric bikes. Carlos Santalalo won the Dakar Classic in his Toyota, retaining his title from 2024. The top 3 saw 3 different manufacturers, with Lorenzo Traclio second in a Nissan, and Carlos Reyes in a Land Rover was third. That makes the lack of diversity in manufacturers in the classic field even more baffling to me. Onto the big desert beasts, the trucks. I said an Iveco 123, and it was an Iveco 123. Not the order I said. Martin Macic won for the 2nd year in a row ahead of Mitchell van der Brink and Alice Lopez. 9 of the top 10 were Ivecos, with the only other truck represented being the Tatra of Thomas Vratny. The class wasn't close, with Macic winning by well over 2 hours, and the top 3 were the same after stage 4, and Martin Macic led after stage 2. The coverage of the trucks was awful, with only brief clips and updates, not painting the full picture of these desert-going Goliaths. A shame, as it's one of the most exciting categories in the Dakar. There was a high rate of attrition in the trucks, only 18 finishers from over 40 entries. It would have been nice to see more of what was going on, but the pickings was slim for the trucks, and that is something that has to change in 2026. Finally, we move on to the cars. Was this a disaster for Dacia? Absolutely not. It would have been massive for them to win on debut. Seb Loeb crashed out, but he was performing well until that point. Nasser al-Attiyah finished 4th and was only 24 minutes off the winner. Outside of a few DNFs, this is his lowest finish since 2007 in a BMW, and that goes to show how incredible a driver al-Attiyah really is. he has finished the Dakar Rally 14 times in 21 attempts, and that includes 5 wins, 5 second places and a third. To do that on an event as tough as the Dakar Rally is remarkable. He was disappointed with 4th and it could have been better. He got lost on one stage towards the end and dropped way over 20 minutes, as well as other issues that cost him a lot of time. He fell out with his co-driver, Edouard Boulanger. I don't know if they managed to sort things out or if the damage was irreparable, but al-attiyah was clearly very angry. Overall for Dacia, they didn't get the win, but they showed they have a great car and great drivers, and they'll be back in 2026 looking for that win for the first time. Ford as well might be disappointed, but overall it was a good rally for them, with Matthias Ekstrom taking his first Dakar podium. Carlos Sainz retired early and was in tears despite 5 wins in nearly 20 years, which shows how much passion that man still has for the sport. Nani Roma in the third Ford also took a couple of stage wins, so Ford, like Dacia, look in a good place. They couldn't beat Toyota though. Henk Lattigan led the majority of the rally, and second place is his best ever result. But Yazid Al-Raji finally took his first win. The local boy won by just shy of 4 minutes from Lattigan, and only took the lead for the first time on stage 9, winning only one stage of the rally. Al-Raji has been al-attiyah's biggest competitor in the World Rally Raid Championship for the last couple of years, and this is the best way to start a run for the overall championship. A Dakar win at the 11th attempt, Toyota took their 4th win in the last 6 years, but with all these new manufacturers looking strong and more coming, Toyota might find it harder in 2026. Some of the other teams that did well, there were a couple of centuries in the top 10. Mathieu Serradori was the best in 6th, and João Ferreira was also in the top 10 in a Mini. Mitch Guthrie was 5th in a second Ford, and Seth Quintero and Juan Cruz Jacopini made it 4 Toyotas in the top 10. A great year in the car class. The sudden influx of new manufacturers has kept it really exciting, especially with so many talented drivers taking part. I can't wait for 2026. So that was the Dakar Rally of 2025. It's just the start of the World Rally Raid Championship, which continues in the Middle East in late February. News that Land Rover will be entering in 2026 means another major manufacturer is joining the championship. It'll be interesting to see who they get to drive the cars. Will this be the last time we see Carlos Sainz? He's in his 60s, has won it 5 times, and he can't do it forever, but he seems to want to, and I don't think he'll move away from the Ford project after a single year. Companies like KTM have been talking of financial worries, so we'll have to see how some of these fields stand in 2026. Mission 1000 could disappear and most people wouldn't notice. Just chuck the vehicles in their respective classes. Winning doesn't matter for them anyway. Some of the coverage could be better, they can make better use of drones. It's just the sheer amount of things we don't see on these rallies can be very frustrating for spectators. And most importantly of all, stop calling it the Dakar. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe for more motorsport. Thank you for watching and have a good one.